Sometimes you got to make the hard decision. It's being a boss. It's being the leader. You got to make the decision that is best for the team. You got to make a decision that sets a tone, and sometimes the one that maybe even hurts you. But for where the Cleveland Browns sit with this Deshaun Watson situation, for as mad, the fan base is becoming divided again. Where this whole situation with Deshaun Watson's shoulder, people are upset, they're bothered, they're in the dark. I don't expect to know exactly what's going on with his shoulder. But my biggest fear is, do the Browns know what's going on? And I sent a tweet yesterday that fired up a lot of people. I had a lot of people in my DMs or in the Twitter inbox yesterday, Ryan, telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about and I don't know football and why would the Browns do this and why would they announce Watson that? When in reality, it's a bigger picture than what even people are looking at. Because I sent a tweet yesterday that if Deshaun Watson can't practice, he can't play, and the Browns need to rule him out. Well, why would you do that? Why would you let the San Francisco 49ers know that? I have a real easy answer on why. And I hope a lot of people that sent me tweets are watching the show this morning, because I got an answer for that. We'll discuss it. Our new backup quarterback, David Njoku, posted some pictures yesterday. Wow. I can't believe he played in that game. Scratch another list or name off the list for the Guardians managerial opening. I am the angel of death when it comes to baseball. We got True or False Thursday. We got Time Up. We got the morning update. We got it all for you right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Yes, we are to Thursday now. A beautiful good morning to you. We'll get to our Thursday night football picks with Tipico coming up in a little bit. Big 10.5-point spread. You know my rule for Thursday. It's usually the dogs and the under. Well, I stick to that. We'll find out a little bit later when it comes to Tipico. Oh, Watson. Okay. So I was not expecting anything from the Browns yesterday. We didn't get that when it comes to Deshaun Watson's shoulder injury. The line of the week is day-to-day. He continues to be day-to-day. He did not practice yesterday. P.J. Walker elevated to your number 2. He's in line to potentially start. Shout out to Daryl Ryder, 92.3 The Fan. Love Daryl. He had an alarming stat for a lot of people, that this is since the Browns have returned in 1999. Ryan, this will be the 10th season. If P.J. Walker needs to start, this would be the 10th season that the Browns have needed 3 starting quarterbacks.
I thought that was just the normal, Matt.
There are teams out there, Ryan, that have had 3 starting quarterbacks since 1999. Seriously.
I believe
it. I mean, that's like, it's just insane. That all aside, the Watson situation has now entered the dividing of the fan base, where people are I don't know, angry, upset, they're frustrated, all of that stuff. And I get that some of it gets taken out on me or the media in general. Because I said, the Browns, I asked them to take control of this situation, knowing that it's an injury and that things can change. What happened last week? Kevin Stefanski said he thought Deshaun Watson was going to play this weekend. Now, all of a sudden, he can't commit to that. Yeah, the injury might have taken a setback. I understand that happens, and I'm not yelling at the Browns for that. I'm not saying how dare they let that happen. But what they have let this become is a 3-ring circus. They have let this become a distraction. And it was always going to be one because he's your starting quarterback and he's injured. That is front page paper news for Cleveland and any other city that has a football team. If their starting quarterback is down, that is a story. The issue is we don't know if Watson is down or not. He's going to try to work through it. The way that I just approach this, and the reason I sent that tweet yesterday is Wednesday is a work day for every NFL team. It is the major install day. Thursday today, another big day. If Deshaun Watson is limited in a Friday practice, that does nothing for me. Friday is a walkthrough as they get ready for the game on Sunday. I guess if he somehow practiced today, I'd maybe feel a little bit better. But the fact that he was limited, or didn't even practice, or not that he was even limited, the Browns just need to rule him out. They need to rule him out for Sunday's game. You're giving the 49ers an edge. They don't need one, man. It's the 49ers. Do you really think that it matters if they ruled out Deshaun Watson yesterday or Sunday before the game? If he doesn't play, it doesn't matter. A lot like PJ Walker versus Dorian Thompson-Robinson. That does not matter. If Watson can't go, the Browns probably will not win that football game. That is how it goes. And, you're chalking up a loss already, and games aren't played on paper, Matt. You know that. Okay. They go win that game Sunday with P.J. Walker. You sign Kevin Stefanski to a lifetime contract because that could be one of the greatest coaching jobs that I've ever seen in my life. And I guess I will leave room for that. The decision is not an easy one to make because they know deep down this is their one chance to do this, right? This is their one chance to win. But what I think a lot of people are failing to realize, Ryan, that don't lose the battle, not the war. If we lose to the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday, which is a real possibility even if Watson plays because he's clearly injured. No matter what you want to tell me, I doubt Deshaun Watson's 100% going to Sunday. I doubt that. So even if he did play and you lose, you are still 2-3. We are still in this thing. And if there's a world that him sitting would get him better prepared for the rest of the season, for 12 more games, that is something the Browns have got to consider, and I'm sure they have, as they sit down and try to understand what is the best course of action. There is no playbook for this. There is no easy way to say, yep, this is the one thing that you got to do. It's not an easy decision to be made. But in my opinion, saying this without my job on the line, it is clear and obvious that Watson is not ready to play on Sunday. Well, Matt, you're going to say that on a Wednesday or a Thursday? Yeah, I am. Yes, I am. Because if he came out of the bye with all that time with rehabbing and rest and he still can't practice on a Wednesday, that tells me there's something there, that it's still not healed. And 70 or 80% Deshaun Watson, that's still better than PJ Walker. How about 100% Deshaun Watson when we face Colt? Is it not Indianapolis after Sunday? Why not get into 100% for the Colts? I have now entered the mindset that I would rather have Deshaun Watson healthy and ready to go for a 12-game run. Because at 2-3, frankly, we are afforded it. We are okay, especially now that the Ravens lost on Sunday. The division is still wide open. Ryan, there are people that I trust very much that still think the Bengals are going to come back and win this division. It's there. It's open. We're not 1-4. We're not 1-3. You have a 500 record. And the other giant piece to all of this is, it's the 49ers. It's the 49ers. They're really good. And if you want to try to tell me that they're coming east from the West time zone and they might be flying high or they're overlooking the Browns, I don't think so. They look like a team that is focused and on a mission right now. And if you want me to sit here and say, well, then rule out Joel Bitonio and Myles Garrett. And people get so upset when I say that. And people get so upset with that mindset because I understand there are people out there watching this or listening. You paid your good hard-earned money to get tickets to go to that game. You are going to invest your time on Sunday to watch that game as I will, as a fan will. And you hate going in knowing that there's that lowly sinking feeling. I am understanding of that. I get it. But in the grand scheme of things, the better thing for the Cleveland Browns to do right now is to sit Deshaun Watson. Is to sit him and then flush it out, get this injury the best that you can be. And then, yes, there is pressure to come back and you better play against Indianapolis and this better all happen. And there's no guarantees that happens. I get it. But the risk of putting him out here, because let's call it for what it is, Ryan. There's a chance that Watson practices today, gets through tomorrow, and they list him for questionable. I think the best case scenario is they list him for questionable going into the game Sunday. And he goes out there, and he plays, and the 49ers just are better. And they get up by a couple of scores, and they pull Watson out at half anyway. That's another scenario that could play out. Now, conversely, the Browns could go out and shock the world. And we go up to a lead, and we're fighting, and we're scrapping for this game to get through it. And I guess I'm just having the defeatist attitude this morning. I guess I really am coming from a defeatist attitude. But it's more of, I would rather be ready to go for the stretch run here. For the run, you have put yourself in a position, the playoffs are still very attainable. Do we ask that question again this week? I love asking that question from time to time with people. Do you still think the Browns are going to make the playoffs? I do. I still feel like we can make it. Are they a perfect team? No. Have they battled some really bad injuries? Yes. Getting Watson healthy is your only path to the playoffs. I'm going to say that again. Deshaun Watson getting healthy is your only path to the playoffs. And if getting him healthy means having to sacrifice this game against the 49ers, I will do that. And I will start this show on Monday and not the sky's falling, fire everybody, we got smoked by the 49ers. I will not do that. You have got to understand that it is never quite this easy of it's either this or it's that. It's either this or it's that. Look at the big picture, please. And are you then putting pressure on this team and front office and coaching staff if you look to go out there and say, okay, you then better go beat the Colts and you better beat the Cardinals? Well, yeah, but that is the situation you've been put in by this injury happening. I can't take it back. Kevin Stefanski can't take that back. He can't take that run back, that injury. This is the bed that you have made. And my path out of this is getting Deshaun Watson back to as near as I can to health. And if sitting him on Sunday again is going to help that, then so be it. You know, my frustration or looking at the Browns with this, people also, you know, they see a tweet, and I completely understand this. They see a tweet, they don't really, I guess it's my fault for not putting more context in it, but I ask people to watch the show. Like, this is where we can actually give full context. We can give our full takes. I can't do it in 280 characters on Twitter, okay? People see things, they get pissed off, right? People like being pissed. Here's breaking news for you. People like to get pissed off on Twitter.
They do.
People like to be angry on Twitter, and that's fine. But for the crew, the big majority of people that try to tell me, why would you give the 49ers an edge? They don't need one. They don't need one, okay? They don't. And you know, sitting wherever you're sitting right now, that if the Browns got to play P.J. Walker on Sunday, they're not winning that game. And that's okay. That's okay. The season is not lost. No matter what happens come Monday morning, the season is not over. You put Watson out there and he suffers a season-ending injury, okay, yeah, then maybe it is. But like that's I guess you can't play scared that way. And then for the people, like, the medical things, okay, because so many people got in my Twitter and said, you don't deserve this information. I'm not asking for this information. I said this multiple times. I'm not asking for the MRI. I'm not asking for me to sit down in these planning meetings with doctors and decide what's going on with Deshaun Watson. But what I ask, or what I hope, is that the Browns have a control on this. You know what I mean? And maybe it's an uncontrollable situation because it is an injury. But Ryan, I'm going to throw this on you to play a clip real quick. Kevin Stefanski last week said that he felt like Deshaun Watson was going to play. The question was, do you feel like he's going into the bye? Do you feel like he's going to play against San Francisco? And he said yes. Yesterday, it was a little bit of a different tone. Question to Kevin Stefanski was, you know, you said that he might play against San Francisco. Has something changed since then with the injuries? Here's Kevin Stefanski, courtesy of the Browns.
Injuries, Jake, as you can imagine, you just have to treat each one specifically. And with this one, that's what we're doing. So just taking in information from our medical staff, from Deshaun, and making sure that we're making the right decisions with everything.
That is the right answer. And that is probably the answer that should have been given last week, or should have been given going into the Baltimore week. And I think I'm going to afford the Browns, as everybody should, the benefit of the doubt, that they needed to learn from that. And I think they have. So there is progress right there to hedge your bets a little bit on if he can or can't play. And there can be setbacks. This is not a linear thing. This is not something where as long as you do A, B, it'll equal C. As long as Watson goes through a week of rehab, he gets a little certificate, he takes a quick picture with that certificate, and he's cleared to play. That's not how it works. I understand that, and I everybody understands that. Like, I don't live in a vacuum that think the Browns can just wave a wand and Deshaun Watson can all of a sudden be playing and be better. But their handling of it is something that I have been and will be critical of because I think they've mishandled this. I do. But you got to give them the room to learn from that and grow from it and be a little bit better. How does that help us for Sunday? Approach the way that they are. Approach this by saying, we don't know if he's going to play. But the other way to handle it, and I'm sorry that there's a little more Baker Mayfield that gets sprinkled into this. The Browns need to be they can't leave this up anymore. You know what I mean? I can't have this. And I believe that Deshaun Watson did everything he could to get ready for that game, and he truly could. But in this business, in this type of game, I can't have that out there. You are better off just making the decision than waiting until 10:30 on Sunday when Dorian Thompson-Robinson found out he was going to start. You can't let that happen again. And that is even more of a reason why I think the Browns just need to make the call. You need to rip that Band-Aid off and say, he's still injured. He probably could play, but we're keeping him out. For the sanctity of the team, for the game plan, and for his health and the rest of the season, all of these things are lining up to sit him. And we'll post this as our Twitter question at Matt Fontana Show. Should Deshaun Watson sit Sunday's game against the 49ers? Yes or no? I'm very clearly, obviously saying yes. The people that would say no, you are going to push for A, the Browns have a chance to win that game with Deshaun Watson. Okay, I understand that. And B, the team, the locker room. How do they view it? And that's why they elevated PJ Walker. Because part of a coach's job is to keep that locker room bought in. Two things get a coach fired: losses on the field and losses in the locker room. And it's up to you on which one comes first. A lot of times, the first step is the loss in the locker room. Organizations will put up with losing to a point. New coaches, okay, usually you get that standard 2 years. Sorry, Chud. But you lose in the locker room, that will get you, that you're gone. There's almost no, you can recover from losses on the field because you assume you'll get better and you maybe find some better players. But losses in the locker room, when guys start questioning the leadership, when they're not buying into the coach anymore, that coach gets fired. That's an undefeated stat in football. When you lose the locker room, you don't keep your job. That's a fact. And I get that Kevin Stefanski has to play that balance here to keep his guys motivated to go. Because, Ryan, imagine you or I or Denzel Ward or Joel Bitonio or Anthony Walker, and we got to go through a week's worth of practice to go gear up and go play Sunday, knowing that we really don't have a prayer, or knowing that the team didn't do everything they could to give us a chance to win. That's not easy. But I would ask those guys to be, they're all professionals. I say what you want about the Browns locker room, but there is a good group of professional athletes in there. There's a good group of people in there. And I do believe it's a very strong locker room from a player standpoint. And hopefully they would understand the big message. Because what would be more defeating to them? To go out there, play the game, potentially lose to the 49ers, and then Deshaun Watson get injured even more. You play the game, you come back next week, and you say, all right, guys, we've had a tough stretch. We've battled some injuries here. And no one cares about that. This is the NFL. Everybody battles injuries. Nobody's going to sit here and cry a river for us. But what we can do now is turn all of our attention to now it is go time. We have Deshaun healthy. It's never a one-man thing, but it is the quarterback. It's the most important thing. And we are now turning our attention to the remaining 12 games of this season. And if we do something like 8-4, which is not that crazy when you look at the Browns' record, they are going to easily walk into the playoffs. Easily, in my opinion. I guess that would put you at 10-7, right? I don't say easily, but that you're in the hunt. You're in the hunt. And that's all you can ask for. And also, this is a team that had to deal with that last year, right? Just keep us in the hunt. Just keep us in the hunt. They couldn't do it. It was a tough ask. It was a tough ask last year. This year's different. And if sitting Deshaun Watson on Sunday, even by a small margin, gives me a better chance for him to be healthy for the rest of the year and play the rest of the year, they have to do it. They have to sit him. That is a tough decision to make. That's a hard decision to make. But I think it's the one that needs to be done. And I have no patience, as I've said, for you're giving the 49ers a real edge in this. No, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Like, the game plan is going to be that different. Kevin Stefanski. So a question you asked him yesterday. Can you create 2 game plans? And I think there's something to be read into about that Baltimore game, potentially. So the question was, Kevin, will you put together 2 separate game plans, one for Deshaun and then one if you have to go to P.J. Walker? Here's Kevin Stefanski yesterday, sound courtesy of the Browns.
I think that's it's our job every week, knowing who is available, who might be available, and put a plan together. You also have to be cognizant of the rest of the team, and if you have 2 or 3 game plans, that's too much to ask of the entire team. But there's ways to do it. There's ways to pivot both in game and during the week.
What about that Baltimore game? I'm sorry, that's me. You know what I mean? Like, because a lot of people were really, I don't say freaking out, but a lot of people wondered about the game plan for the Baltimore game. And that's, coaches, like he said, during the game, you have to pivot. You got to make some changes. But that's another reason why I think it would be beneficial just to pull the Band-Aid and rule Watson out. You can just go in and say, we're going to game plan for nothing but P.J. Walker. That helps. That helps. A couple extra days of not having to devote time. Now, here's the thing. The Browns maybe have already made this decision. They've made that decision potentially, right? And you're right. I don't need to know it. The San Francisco 49ers don't need to know it. But I don't think they have. And that's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm asking for. I just think it's the right thing to do. I do. And it's easy for me to sit here and say that. I understand all of it. And it's a tough thing to do because I'm chalking up an L. I am. It's 49ers. They're a very good team. I still feel really good about the Browns. I still feel really good about their schedule coming after that game, but it all continues to revolve around Deshaun Watson. And that is how the NFL is set up. As we've talked a lot about this week. You don't have your quarterback, you don't have a shot. You don't have a prayer. It's all. So if this means having to sacrifice this battle to win the war, that's what's going to have to happen. Because I need Deshaun Watson to go to the playoffs. I need Deshaun Watson for the Browns to do anything. And I don't want it to be, Ryan, what we've been in so many years past. We get to December and it's nothing. We're playing useless games. Like, I don't want that. There's no right answer. That's the hardest part of all this. There is no guarantee on any way that you slice it. So I'll be interested to see how Browns fans play this out. At Matt Fontana Show, we're asking everybody, should the Browns sit Deshaun Watson against the 49ers? I think yes, no doubt about it. Ryan, please cast your vote this morning here on the Matt Fontana Show.
Yeah, barring the limited knowledge we know about the injury, I'm going to assume we get the feeling that it is a bit more extreme than we previously thought a week or two ago. So, and like you said, the 49ers, that is such an insane matchup. So I'm okay with him sitting if that means, like you said, win the if you lose the battle but win the war, all things are good at the end. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Sorry, kid stuff. RSV's going around on the schools. Good times. Great. Awesome. Have fun with that. All you parents out there, you know what that's all about. Not fun. Yeah, I mean, again, limited information on our part, as it should be. I guess you give the Browns credit a little bit to say they are guarding it a little. You know, the rotator cuff thing kind of came out. And I'll be honest, that bothered me. You know, we talked about that a little yesterday, is that information leaking out is never a good thing. And it just, that signs to me a little dysfunction when you're getting information out, because people want that information out there. Because whoever leaked that, they leaked that info because it benefits them. I don't know who it was. I'm not here to speculate. One of the pieces of information we got yesterday from Kevin Stefanski is we do have a new backup quarterback. It is P.J. Walker. Question yesterday to Kevin Stefanski was, what was going into the decision to elevate Walker ahead of Dorian Thompson-Robinson? Here's Kevin Stefanski.
I felt like it was the right decision for the team, Tony. I think PJ's been here now for a month plus, getting a better understanding of what we do, but just felt like it was the right decision for the team.
Coaches speak, I need to keep this thing together for the team. I need to keep this together where it's not like, I'm going to say this word because I can't think of a better word, and it sounds like it's super negative and terrible against the Browns. It's like malpractice. Like, it's borderline malpractice to walk Dorian Thompson-Robinson out there, and that's not really the word. I just can't think of a better one right now. But you walk him out there, you saw what happened, you know it didn't go well. Yeah, does he give you the best chance to win? I don't know. Here's the thing. If I gave you two players, and they are Dorian Thompson-Robinson and P.J. Walker, and you strip everything away, draft pick, age, name, all that. I just have player A and player B. They're not that dissimilar. They really aren't. PJ Walker's at least played in the NFL a little bit. That's a big step. The reason this move was made for the locker room. That's it. The decision for the team. And it's not a shot at Dorian Thompson-Robinson. What's he supposed to do? He's a rookie. He played in his first game against the Baltimore Ravens. I think there's an element of protecting him to say, we're not going to run you out there against the 49ers because that's just going to be all bad. I said the decision to start one or the other or the backup, it's really indifferent to me. I could make the case that you start Dorian Thompson-Robinson to get him some reps. You could push back on just exactly what I just said. You're going to put him out there, going to get him killed. And it's going to do nothing but slow his progression. Totally understand all of that. But the move also was made in part because it wasn't Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Because of how bad it went, you just needed to make a change. That screams as you need to make a change for change's sake. And that is signaling to the team and keeping them together. Again, for the motivation, Ryan, to try to keep these guys together going into this game, if you said it was going to be Dorian Thompson-Robinson or elevated him as the backup, kind of like, okay, it's going to be an uphill battle. You put PJ Walker in there, it's still like, okay, it's an uphill battle, but you feel a little better. You feel a little bit like at least this guy has been in the NFL for a while. He started games in the CFL. Everybody's putting those clips out of PJ Walker and all that. So this was a locker room move, and that's fine. And that's nothing to take away from Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I'm still very much on board with him. I still like him very much as a player, potential as the backup for the future for a long time. But that's why that move was made. It's indifferent to me. It's indifferent. And at this point, to make that kind of move to then probably get ready for the game plan, I think we're leaning towards PJ Walker getting that start. Why else would they make that move, Ryan, unless they're leaning towards PJ Walker having to be your starting quarterback come Sunday?
Yeah, I agree with you, Matt. And I was just like, this is such a weird situation. I don't know how to gauge my expectations for Sunday at all. And it's just going to be so interesting. Like,
well, not to cut you off there, but like telling yourself you're not going to have any expectations is an okay answer.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like
sometimes it's the best answer.
That's where some Browns fans some get it and some don't. And I'm not telling you how to fan, and I'm not telling you how to root for your team. But some people live and die with Sunday, no matter what. They don't care about anything else other than did the Browns win or lose. That's it. There's a group of that. But there's a group, and probably a bigger group, that are the realists, where you can go into Sunday, we'll watch, and some of you will be there at the stadium, and know that it's going to be an uphill battle against a really tough team. And if we get smoked, we get smoked. But I'm still going to start the show on Monday saying we're going to have a look at the playoffs. It's not like if you lose by 40, you get 5 losses. Sunday is just one. Just one. And we are built up that there's only 17 of these games, and every one of them has got to be important. You got to try to win every game. I understand all of that. You might not have your starting quarterback and you're facing the best team in football. I don't have any expectations for Sunday. I don't. If the Browns go out there and somehow pull a win, man, am I going to be excited. And if they lose, it's kind of, it is what it is. It's almost like that is my expectation. And I hate doing that. But people also, they get, oh man. Because this goes back to like the Hugh Jackson stuff and all the scars and the wounds and the history of this team, where sometimes like people think that one loss will catapult us back into purgatory. They think like every single step of the way that we're just on the edge of just falling back to all the hell that we've been through. And that's not the case. You got to understand that this team is different. This team is built different. The front office is different. The coaching staff is different. This town does not accept losses well. And I'm not telling you that you should, because there are organizations out there that accept no losses, and they're out there to win every single week. And I want to get there with the Cleveland Browns. And I want to get to a point where losing really does bother me. I don't want to lose. I want the Browns to win. But I'm also understanding of the situation. And I want them to win Sunday. But if they don't, there's a bigger message out there. There's a bigger picture. And you got to have some confidence that this team can turn it around. That's really probably what it is. People have a fear that one loss will then turn into 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that there's no recover from that. You have to have faith that this team is strong enough to recover. And I get it. They've done nothing to prove you the other ways. There's nothing that they have done to try to give you that hope. I'm asking for some blind faith for this. I am. Our Twitter question is up, at Matt Fontana Show. We're asking everybody, do you think the Browns should just sit Deshaun Watson for Sunday's game? Vote on that. We already got some tweets in the Twitter inbox we'll get to, at Matt Fontana 83, at Matt Fontana Show. I've got a potential trade again for the Cleveland Browns that's starting to heat up. This is from Bill Barnwell, a trade that actually we have brought up on this show before for the Browns. We'll get to that. David Njoku posting the burn pictures. Man, I don't know how he played that game. We'll get into that coming up. A little update on the Guardians managerial search as the name has come off that list. And the Big Ten starting to invade what used to be a no-no place. I'll tell you what that is and why it's going on, and frankly, why it doesn't bother me at this point in my life. We'll get to all that coming up. It's the Matt Fontana Show right here on Big Play. We're presented by Tipico. Get your bets in for tonight. We'll run through our Thursday night football bets for tonight. It's Broncos, it's Chiefs, it's 10.5. You know me and the over-under on Thursday night football. We'll get to that. But use the code BIGPLAY150. Get signed up. We missed out on our boost parlay yesterday. I blame myself for baseball. Good thing is I have football tonight, so I'll be taking a step back from baseball. But you can bet on the playoffs, man. I don't even, what was it for Bryce Harper to hit 2 home runs? Probably plus 1,000, plus 2,000, something like that. I mean, that was a fun game.
Make some money.
That was a fun-ass game. Get involved for the playoffs. Basketball's right around the corner. Hockey has already started. Tipico. Big Play 150 is the code. You get signed up, $50 deposit, get you $150 in bet credits, plus a $30 dog pound futures bet. And you can bet with us all season right here in Tipico. The boosts are great, and I love getting those picks out there for Thursday night football. We'll do that a little bit later in the show, so stay with us on that. Tipico, Big Play 150. Got plenty coming up. Don't go anywhere. Matt Fontana Show right here on Big Play. All right, we're back here on Big Play. It's the Matt Fontana Show, 9 to 11 every single morning right here. Appreciate everybody stopping by, and we're talking Browns. So the question is up at Matt Fontana Show. You were the Browns. Would you sit Deshaun Watson for Sunday's game? I said yes. I think that there's just too many. I'm not saying there's reasons to not play him, but Ryan, there are just too many on the other side for me. If you can get him healthy for the rest of the season, it's already an uphill battle against the 49ers. I will lose this battle to continue on with the war because there's a chance Watson plays. I'm not giving credit for that. And I got a tweet in the Twitter inbox that you are assuming that Watson will go out there and get hurt again. And he might go out there and play and it'll be just fine and he doesn't get hit and all is well and dandy. I don't know, right? Sure. But I know he won't get hurt standing on the sidelines. And I know because here's the other part of it. There's work been done on his shoulder, right? So if wherever he started, with however bad that bruise was on the rotator cuff or contusion or whatever you want to call it, however bad it was, I'm going to believe, Ryan, that it's a little better today. And it'll be a little bit better tomorrow, and it'll be a little bit better on Saturday, and it just continues on. You then run the risk of undoing all of that, right? That could happen. Again, he could go out there and be just fine, but you've built it to this point. And if you're at this precipice, that he could finally get over all of it and it's completely behind him, why risk it at this point for the 5th game of the season? This isn't week 16. This isn't the last week of the season that you got to win to make the playoffs. That's different. You are afforded it for a couple of reasons. Number one, you are 2-2 at this point. You're in this thing. Number two, we are a quarter of the way into the season, if that. Well, yeah, over a quarter of the way into the season. 17 games throws me off. But anyway, you got plenty of football left. And you, me, and everybody knows that if you don't have Deshaun Watson, you're not going to have a chance anyway. So do what you can to have him ready to go for 3/4 of the season. That's where I'm at. I think the reason is yes. Ryan, you've also said yes. We're about 57-43. I'll give you that. On people say yes, Kyle tweets, we're supposed to be a contender and we make every excuse imaginable on why we're only mediocre. 500 mentality gets you 500 results. See, Kyle, I get that, but I would tell you that I think a top-class organization might do the same thing. Would they not? I don't want to make some comparison to Mahomes or Jalen Hurts or anything like that, but I would imagine that other organizations might approach it the same way. And people want to jump into what's the point of making the announcement. There's an element of saying it's also for Watson himself to just be like, dude, no, man, we're going to make this call for, like, almost protecting himself from himself. Just say, don't even worry about it. We're sitting you down. It's the best for the team, and you can focus on your rehab and get better and come back fully healthy, and then we'll get after it when we move forward. That's almost the decision I'm talking about. That's the hardest decision, is making the one that is like self-sacrificial of, we're going to make this for the best move for the team and protect you from you, is kind of how I view that as well. So again, vote at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow there if you can. Also on social media yesterday, David Njoku. And Ryan, we have the pictures from his Instagram, man. So we all know, household accident the Friday before the Baltimore game. Came out that he suffered facial and hand burns. I guess he was trying to light a fire pit or something like that. And he posted that picture last night. And that tells you that wasn't, that's serious. That's a serious burn right there. And he also posted another one. Thankfully, it looked a little bit better, maybe a little healing. I'm sure that the doctors are all over it. But if anybody that's ever been even a small burn, you know how bad burns hurt. And you know what makes them hurt even worse? When you sweat.
Oh, yeah.
That guy played a football game. I know he had the helmet on, and he had like the mask on to try to help it. He still had a helmet on. And took contact to that. You're telling me it didn't hurt that forehead? I mean, what a warrior. We all start from the same thing. I am glad that David Njoku's okay. That looks serious, man. And for him then to turn around and be able to play a game, and I'm not comparing it to Watson or playing or not, that kind of stuff. This is just about David Njoku, man. Holy cow.
I hate seeing the flesh.
Yeah. And that's serious, man. So I'm glad he's okay. I'm glad it seems like he's getting better. And credit for him playing in that football game. People tweeted, Padone was sending this tweet out too about him like endearing himself to fans. David Njoku is a really well-liked player in this town, as he should be. He's a good player. He's paid. He's going to be here. The Chiefs slam, everybody loves it. He's battled injuries throughout his career, but he's a guy that should be a big part of this team, and I'd like to see a little more of the tight end, to be honest with you. Yeah, but that's something like, I look at that, and there's the other picture to see, like, thank goodness he's smiling, but even there, it looks a little bit better, and hopefully just kind of continues to get better each and every day. You're telling me that guy on the left of the screen there, sorry, this way, stage right, Ryan, this guy right here, if he sat there and he said, you know what, I'm not going to play a football game in 2 days, we'd all sit there and be like, of course you're not. Like, what happened, Not what happened, but oh my gosh, how bad is that? And he didn't. He suited up. I think that says a lot. I think that says a lot about the team, where they're at, the team camaraderie that they have. So good for Njoku, and I'm glad he's getting better with that. Happy to see it. The Big Ten could be moving into Friday night slots with Fox. So now that we have Oregon and Washington, and there's 18 teams in the Big Ten, having 9 games, because again, a full slate, you'd have 9 Big Ten games on a Saturday slate. Usually slates are noon, 3:30, and night. You'd have 3 games at each of those. That's a lot. So there was always this thought that the Big Ten and some of these other schools conferences would start to branch out. And lo and behold, we have that. There will be more Friday night football games for the Big Ten starting next year with their Fox. But wait a minute. I thought we were moving off Fox. Isn't the Big Ten with CBS, or they just have some games on CBS now? Or NBC? I can't keep all this crap straight, man.
With the Ohio State game being on Peacock this week.
People
crazy.
Are pissed. I mean, download the app. I mean, I'm assuming it's free, right? Is it free?
I don't know.
My God.
I would imagine it's not free.
I mean, I have Peacock, so it's like I don't really care, but oh my God, maybe you have to pay for it.
Isn't that nuts?
Hang on, I'm going to the Columbus Dispatch. Shout out to Colin Gay who wrote this. Noon, Ross-Ade Stadium, West Lafayette, Purdue. The game scares the hell out of me. We never play well. I don't know why it's Purdue. God, who had it? Was it Bill Rabinowitz or somebody had a tweet about, might have been Spencer Holbrook. Like, every major coach that Ohio State has had, even going back to like the 70s, they've all lost a big game at Purdue. The Urban Meyer one just still sticks in my craw. Purdue, something about it. Okay, Ohio State Purdue will air on Peacock only. You have to buy the premium plan.
I'm telling you, Matt.
Oh my
insane.
God. Dude.
What have we become?
I mean, that is the world that we live in. And it's funny that this story is coming up because I spent 15 minutes on the phone with yesterday? AT&T Uverse, because my contract is up. And I know that I'm a dinosaur because I still have Uverse. Like, I still have a cable box. And most people have made the jump to just streaming and you get a smart TV. But, bro, it's every year I have to call them and I have to argue with them. And I go, why can't I just pay what I used to pay? They've already jacked up my bill. Like, so it's me, but I know a lot of people out there deal with the same thing. I've been a customer with AT&T Uverse for 10 years. I'm a Gold Star member. I call them. I used to pay $130 a month for TV and internet, which was a deal, right? That seemed to be. Now I pay $200 a month for internet and for TV. And it works out because it's all the channels that I want. I get HBO, which I want, which I willingly pay for. And I get fast internet. My wife works from home. So we need the internet. So I called them yesterday because my contract is up next month. And they go, oh, yeah, you have promotions that are ending. I'm like, I know. That's why I'm calling. Well, we can't do anything until your contract actually expires. Wait, what? Well, we can't see any promotions to add to your thing until the promotions end. So then I go, do I get stuck with a bill at a higher rate until the promotions take effect? Oh, no, don't worry, sir. You have a 24-hour grace period. So you're telling me that I have 24 hours that I have to call you back, hash out a deal, and then I won't get charged even more to still then give you over $2,000 a year for your TV and internet. It's a racket, and I hate it. It's not even old get off my lawn guy, because everybody deals with this, right? We are entering the world where everything will be privatized and everything is individual. You got to pay for this streaming platform. You got to pay for this. And how many people out there, just in your own head, how many streaming services do you pay for?
Yeah, I pay so I have the family Netflix and Hulu, but I pay for HBO, ESPN Plus.
Yeah, so
count that.
They're jacking that price up too. Did you see that?
I think that's it. And then I know, like, oftentimes, like, we'll, like, sometimes if a certain show we want to watch, like, we'll get Showtime, Stars, all that.
Yeah, I used to have Showtime. Yeah. So at our house, I pay for HBO. I probably always pay for HBO. We picked up Peacock because they were running a deal for, like, it was like $6 for 6 months. And I go, okay, so I got Peacock now. We canceled Apple TV because Ted Lasso's over.
Yeah.
My wife is so close to canceling Netflix. And really, I think we will. We'll only bring it back for Stranger Things. But I'd say the average person out there has 3 to 4 different streaming platforms, right? And then how many people out there don't even have traditional cable anymore? You're on YouTube TV, you're on Hulu Live. And I would say this, and this is maybe me begging YouTube TV, if they had Bally's, I'd be in. And people, before you tweet, I know Fubo has Bally's. So I need to watch the Cavs and the Guardians and the Blue Jackets. And there's also the world that I could just switch to YouTube TV and then buy the Bally's package. It actually comes out to about the same price of what I'm paying now, so I might as well just keep what I have, right? But it's just such a racket. That is the world that we live in. What do everybody want? They want that bundled, right? What is that? It's cable. It's cable. We grew up in an era where cable had every TV, and then the rates got out of hand, advertising wasn't enough, and everybody jumped to their individual things. And now what does everybody have? 3, 4, 5, 6 different streaming platforms you're paying out the ass for, and what do you want? You want it all consolidated like cable.
That was pre-binge watch era.
Yeah, and trust me, I like the apps too. You know what I really like, though? And people think I'm crazy. When I call it AT&T, they think I'm crazy. Because I said, I want HBO on my TV so I could go and see what is on HBO right now. Well, you just go to the app and just pull up whatever movie you want to watch. I miss being able to go to the TV guide and say, oh, look, The Departed was on last night. Thank God. I wish it was on HBO. It was on AMC. Cannot watch that movie edited. It's one of the greatest movies ever made. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Watching that movie edited on cable is like pulling teeth. But I liked flipping through, and there it is, and I'll sit through the whatever. But it's just, now we live in an era where, you're paying out the ass for it, and it's just...
Yeah. I didn't even mention, I forgot about Disney Plus and Amazon Prime.
I have Prime. Who doesn't have Prime in this world? And again, how are you going to watch Thursday Night Football without it? Then I have the bundle, because again, okay, so the same thing. I have ESPN Plus, kind of have to for the job that we do, but also I'm a UFC fan, so you have to have Plus to then... I have to pay them $120 a month to then have the right to pay $80 per fight. Yeah. I hate it. And then you get the Hulu and you get the Disney Plus. It's so bad. So again, we started talking about Ohio State. And that's why they're going to move to Fridays, because they need more runway, where they're the only game in town. They're the only game on, so then people are willing to pay $5.99 a month for Peacock. Because this is what happened. This is what all these big networks did. Peacock is owned by who? NBC. Everybody's got their streaming platform. And the TV rights that they paid billions of dollars for, they need to make their ad revenue. Back in the day, they need to make their revenue, right? And what did they do back in the day? They just sold it to advertisers. And people would pay a buttload of money to be on Thursday Night Football, to be on this game on Fox and all that kind of stuff. What the companies then found out was, it's just better if we just charge the people. Instead of selling advertising, which is a pain in the ass, we'll sell subscriptions. And we'll make our money on top of that ad revenue. Do I get to watch this game on Saturday? paying the money for Peacock and not seeing a single commercial? No, they're doubling up. So that's, you're paying pay-per-view in a way. You're paying per month to watch this. And that is the world that we live in. I do wish, and it'll never happen, but the consolidation has to happen. Where even then, like Paramount Plus, right? Didn't they just say that they were like starting to fold everything under the umbrella of Paramount Plus? Like it used to be whatever, AMC, even HBO Max. You don't have National Geographic. Like eventually it'll just become all of these big networks will have their own streaming services. And that might work. Like, I don't know how else it's going to work. Like, and trust me, there's a lot of money getting thrown around in today's digital era. And I'm not anti-streaming. Like, it's easier, right? You don't have to have the box in your house anymore. You plug your internet in. But then you still have to pay for internet. So in a world where a lot of people out there screaming, saying, man, I'm paying $300 too. You're paying $60, $70, $80 for internet. Then you're paying $60, $70 for YouTube TV or Hulu. But then you still need Peacock at $5. You still need HBO Max at $15. You still need Netflix at $20. And you start adding it up. Like eventually you just want to go back to what it used to be. Everything was in one. That's kind of why I fight with AT&T. I'll pay $200 a month, but I just want it all in one thing. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. People go, just don't watch it then. Okay, fine, I guess. What I was talking about was Friday, right? So they're going to move to this Friday slate. And I understand that there are people out there that the NFL doesn't play on Friday because of this weird, crazy thing about high school football, right? So they play Thursday night. You're supposed to have high school on Friday, college on Saturday, and then the NFL is on Sunday. And then the NFL invades Saturday when college football ends. So now college football, they only had one way to move, and that was to Friday. Yeah, you'll get your MAC games on Tuesday and Wednesday. You'll never get big name teams to play on that. So Friday was the only logical choice. And there are people out there that freak out and they go, you're stepping on high school football and how dare you this and how dare you that. It tells you where the world is at. Money rules everything, and there's money to be made on Friday nights. Here's why it doesn't bother me. My son doesn't play football yet. My son is 2 years old. Eventually, one day, he will be in high school, and maybe he'll play football. I don't know. Maybe he won't. But if I'm not at a high school game on Friday night, then yeah, I want to watch college football on Friday night. And there's probably a vast majority of people out there that either had sons or daughters on the field in the band, cheerleaders, or you just went to go root for your high school. Again, your son or daughter could have played volleyball or ran cross country, but you just go to the games on Friday nights to root your home team on or to be there with your kids. Great. I truly look forward to those days with my family in the future. And at that point, if Ohio State's playing on a Friday night, I'll just go, well, I'm going to the game. I'm going to my son's game, or I'm going with my daughter. She's a cheerleader, whatever the case may be. And I'll catch the game later. That just doesn't, but the outrage of them playing on Friday night doesn't bother me. Make your choice. If you want to go to the high school, you can go to the high school game. But the huge majority of people out there that aren't at high school games outweighs the people that are. You know what I mean? Like, it's just simple numbers. Like, there are more people, and even as parents that used to be at high school games, whether you're, again, son or daughter or graduated, they're grown, how many high school games do you actually go to? So I just wanted to say that because, like, them moving to Friday really doesn't bother me as much as some people. People thought it was, oh my God, like it was just so, like, upsetting the establishment. How dare you move to Friday? Of course they were always going to. There's money to be made. What do you want? I just got to pay them $5 to watch this freaking game. Now I'm worried. I'm making sure, because here's the other thing. It says Peacock Premium. I don't know if I have Peacock Premium, Ryan.
Do you know what the difference is?
No idea. I have no idea. I don't even have the Peacock app on my phone. I have it on my phone at home, or on my TV at home. I'll have to look it up when I get home. Then I had an idea. We'd never do it because it's completely illegal. What if we started a network of password sharing? Where, let's say, and I've thought about this as a bundle. If there was somehow to make a company, here's my $1 million idea. All I want is $1 million. Whoever comes up and actually does this, like, just give me a slice here. You start a company. You go to Netflix, HBO, Peacock, Apple TV, all of these streaming platforms. And you say, I'm going to buy 50,000 subscriptions. Would you then give me a discount on those subscriptions? and see what, and it's all based that they would say yes. Then we create a company that people call up and I say, I want Apple TV, I want Peacock, and I want HBO Max. Okay, here's a discounted deal on all three of those. Okay, this person walks in. They want Netflix, they want Paramount Plus, and they want HBO Max. Okay, let's bundle that, and here you go. They save a little bit of money, we take a little piece, and the companies get their subscriptions. I thought about that. It'll never work because that means that these companies who hate each other have to actually cooperate and do that deal, and they're saying, why would we? We're making all this money. There's a shift coming. The world is, obviously, it's cyclical. It's a circle. The Earth is literally a circle. Actually, it's a little oval. Did you know that? Earth is just quite a little bit out of shape. The world is cyclical, where we'll come back full circle one day. I hope that there will be one day that we're back to just regular cable TV, where all your streaming platforms will be available. And you just pay a fee for whatever it is, and you get everything that you want. I hope to get there one day. All right, we're way late. We're going to do true or false today on a Thursday, as we normally do. We got to talk Guardians. They got a managerial request denied. Everybody did because Will Venable's a big name out there. He said no to everybody. Potential trade for the Browns with Ernest Johnson. We'll get to all that. We have the morning update. We're going to, unfortunately, have to end a little bit early. Today's my fault. We have to end just a little bit early today, so we'll take you about till 10:45 this morning. So we got plenty of the next 45 minutes. We'll do the morning update. We'll do true or false. We'll get to this potential trade for the Browns. We'll try to squeeze in time off. We got you locked and loaded right here on Big Play. Don't forget Chico coming up 12 to 2. We got you covered almost every day, folks. We got the Reflog Show. We've got Hanford Dixon with Greg Williams. We've got Bruce's show. Bruce Drennan with us now. Bonus time. Chico and I every day. We're always on 9 to 11. Chico's 12 to 2. Big things coming here with Big Play, folks. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. You can follow just Big Play, and they retweet a lot of like Ted Ginn's show now is up and rolling. We'll get back into Boobie Gibson's show, basketball season. We have some really big things coming. So just follow Big Play or follow the shows individually on each of their Twitter spaces. BigPlay.com is our website. We have an app coming down the barrel. New studios coming. It's really exciting stuff. And we appreciate everybody that's with us because the views mean everything to us. We really appreciate people that spend a little time with any of our shows. It's been awesome. I've loved it so far. Ryan, we're coming up on 2 months. Coming up on 2 months, which is very exciting for us. So love the support. Really have felt the love being here as well. BigPlay.com for everything you need. Big Play. How you want it, when you want it, where you want it. That is BigPlay.com to check it all out. Let's catch a break. Do the morning update next. You want to do that? True or false?
Up to you, man.
One of those. We'll figure out something. We'll do it next right here. Stay with us. All right, we were going to do True or False Thursday as we normally do. We got the morning update. We're going to combo those because I had some things in True or False that we'll bring up here. In the morning update, Thursday edition, the stories you have always got to know. Ryan Tyler Haslam, take it away, Ryan.
Alrighty, well, in the football world, got a little news yesterday. Dorian Thompson-Robinson told us that he had no idea he was going to make his first start against the Ravens until 10:30 a.m. on Sunday.
That is another reason why, back to our Twitter question, I think you can just go ahead and if you rule out Deshaun Watson, that gives a little more confidence to P.J. Walker to be like, dude, you're the guy, you're going to start. And I understand that maybe this has all happened behind closed doors already, or maybe this is something that getting texts during the show, people are going, dude, your phone keeps lighting up and it's distracting us. I need to keep it away. You would think for like a couple hours, I just keep the phone away, but kid stuff. Got meetings later. It's a busy day for us. But anyway, it's just all like, you know what I mean? Would it have changed anything in the Baltimore game if they told Dorian Thompson-Robinson on Thursday he was starting? I don't know, but I'll tell you this: it couldn't have hurt. Could not have hurt. Anytime that you can get more information or more lead time, that is going to help. It's an uphill battle for P.J. Walker. Any way you want to slice it, try to help him out the best you can. Make the decision and tell him that he's starting the game on Sunday.
Already, well, in the basketball world, yesterday was announced that the Cleveland Cavaliers are welcoming Coca-Cola as the official fan refreshment partner. I kind of wanted to save this for Two for Tuesday, but maybe not, Matt. That begs the question, Coke or Pepsi?
Pepsi.
I agree.
Pepsi all day. Now, here's the thing. Sprite, which is a Coca-Cola product, is my favorite soft drink pop. It's my favorite pop ever. Sprite. There's nothing like an ice-cold Sprite. So... and now isn't Sierra Mist, isn't it Starry? Didn't they change the name of that? Is that where I'm getting that from?
I have no idea.
Starry used to be...
I think the only real pop that I drink is Pepsi or Coke.
Pepsi, yeah, it used to be... Starry replaced Sierra Mist as Pepsi's lemon lime flavored drink, in part because Sierra Mist failed to gain market share in the growing category. Okay, so Starry, like that really is going to matter. Sprite is my favorite pop of all time, but Coke versus Pepsi, I'm always going to take Pepsi. I know there's something about Coke, it's the aftertaste for me. I just can't do it. Now, cherry Coke versus wild cherry Pepsi, that's a tough debate for me. That's a really hard debate for me. I don't drink a lot of pop.
Yeah.
Like I maybe have one pop a week. Maybe on the weekends. Like, we don't even keep it really that stocked in our house. Like, if we get takeout or something like that, I'll grab one. I'm not a huge pop drinker, but there's nothing like a good Sprite. So Sprite on the Coke side, then definitely Pepsi overall. So your question of Coke versus Pepsi, it'll be Pepsi.
Yeah, well, that's we got to get those brackets going because I feel like that would be some.
Oh yeah, the best pop.
Yeah,
we should do that. I keep going back and forth on the bracket because I think it'd be something it'd be really cool for us to do because you could pull the graphic up. Mm-hmm. Like we can make a graphic for the bracket. Maybe we'll bring those. Yeah, maybe we'll bring those back. I think we really should. I've had a lot of them. I have a list in my phone of brackets that I've just wanted to always do throughout my career, just as they come up. And I love doing them where this is like my favorite one. It's organic. It just kind of came out of nowhere. So I'll tell you what. Next week,
let's do it.
We'll bring them back. The big play bracket.
We'll have a vote on the show page about we'll have like 2 bracket ideas and we'll go with the best voted one. How about
all right,
that?
That's fine. We'll start with that. I think we just do the pop one next week.
Let's do it.
Let's do that. We'll start the bracket and put it on young Ryan there to get some graphics up for that. So we'll bring the bracket back. Start it next week. But yes, Pepsi is the answer.
All right.
Actually, can I throw one more thing in it?
Go for it.
Throw a lemon in your Pepsi. You ever? And they tried to make these for a little while.
I've never heard that before.
Oh yeah, you throw a lemon into a Pepsi. It is delicious. The other thing that Coke has are the freestyle machines, like at the movie theater, or like my wife and I got Five Guys this weekend, and I didn't get a pop, but I always wanted to. Like they have the freestyle machine where you just put it in, and then you pick your base, right? And you could do Sprite. The best is a cherry Sprite. Oh my God, it is just savory. It is delicious, and you could do vanilla. You could do all these things with Coke and Fanta and. I think Barks is their root beer. Those freestyle machines are cool as hell. I love those freestyle machines. So actually my favorite pop all time would be a cherry Sprite, but of available ones, Sprite, or if you next time you get a Pepsi, throw a lemon in there. It's delicious. It's very good.
Alrighty, I will try that next time. But all right, everybody knows the Guardians are in the search for their next manager after the legendary Tito Francona is departing. So, Matt, another candidate kind of got crossed off the list.
Yeah, so Will Venable. So Venable is the Texas Rangers. He's their associate head coach under Bruce Bochy. And, of course, the Rangers just punched their ticket to the ALCS. They're flying high. There were reports, this was from Ken Rosenthal, that multiple teams reached out to Will Venable, and he told them, I'm staying. So he's a former player, played a few years in the major leagues, 8 to 16, so he had a pretty decent career. Padre, I remember from the Padres. And he's a young guy, he's 40, and he was a hot ticket item. I'm not saying the Guardians were one of those teams, and neither is Ken Rosenthal, but how could they not be? So I looked this up, Ryan. Do you know how many vacant managerial positions there are in baseball right now?
I have no idea.
4. The Guardians,
Angels.
the Angels, the Mets, and the San Francisco Giants. It's not saying that there won't be more, but at this point, there's only 4. Kevin Cash sounds like he's staying in Tampa, and now Will Venable said that he's staying with the Rangers. And I think it makes a lot of sense. How old's Bruce Bochy? I was shocked when he went back to take that Rangers job, to be honest with you. You know, he's got his World Series. He did everything with the Giants. Hang on, let me find this real quick. Bruce Bochy is 68 years old. So I'd imagine he might not be there forever, get to retirement. And maybe Will Venable says, I'll hang out here and just take this job over. That hurts, though. This is the reason I brought it up. Of the 4 positions open, the Guardians, the Angels, the Mets, and the Giants, each have their pros, each have their cons. I would tell you, unfortunately, I don't know if the Guardians are the favorite of the positions. The one team I'd stay the hell away from is the Angels. Nobody want to manage the Angels. Do not go there. Trout's going to be out of there. They're getting rid of Ohtani. That is like the plague. Stay away from the LA Angels. I could say the same thing about the Mets. I really could. That's a tough market to manage in. They traded everybody away. There's not a lot going on there with the Mets. So then I would get down to the Guardians and the Giants. Both are similar. I think well-run organizations, lower expectations relative to the Guardians. So I'm kind of trying to make the case where I think the Guardians might... I'll put it this way. You slice it anyway. The Giants and the Guardians are the 2 favorite positions that you'd have. So my thing is, by Will Venable saying no, that reduces the pool. You know what I mean? To make the right hire. And I know Antonetti and Chernoff are working very hard. I think the Guardians are a very attractive position to somebody. It just sucks that it won't be Will Venable.
Alrighty, well, we're getting into the thick of October baseball. Going through the slate yesterday, Phillies beat the Braves 10-2. We saw Bryce Harper have his first multi-home run postseason game. The Astros defeated the Twins 3-2 to eliminate them. And the Astros have been to 7 straight ALCSs?
Do you know the last time the Astros weren't in the ALCS? Do you know who was?
The Guardians.
The Guardians.
2016,
Ben Axelrod had that. Shout out to Ben, awful announcing.
And then lastly, Diamondbacks surprisingly sweep the Dodgers.
The hell is that?
3-0.
A part of me outside of my typical betting loves that. Suck it, LA. Suck it, baseball. I love the dichotomy. I love being able to say, here's this team that spent all this money and have all these stars. The freaking Diamondbacks. Oh, I didn't even think we're getting out of the first round. Ryan, there was a point in August, the Diamondbacks had a 10% chance of making the playoffs, and they're going to the NLCS.
I'd love to see it.
God bless them, man. That's awesome. Sucks for our betting on Tipico, because I thought the Dodgers would come back to win that series. Got their asses swept. Is that good or bad for baseball?
Good, I would say.
Do you think so?
I mean, okay, when you have the high market team, like a California team like that, I get it. So, okay. Financially, maybe not, but
I'm even asking, just as a fan, because baseball's pissed.
Yeah.
Baseball doesn't like that. The only good part of this is that Arizona keeps the West Coast a little bit, and obviously they were always going to have that at least going to the NLCS. The NLCS, I really think now it's either going to be Philly or Atlanta. That'll go to the World Series. So you're going to be in Eastern time zone against probably Central time zone in the Astros, or the Rangers. So the West Coast is about to get weeded out. But yeah, it's the Dodgers to a point, but like as the average fan, when you sit down to watch a game, would you prefer to see the Dodgers where you see, oh, there's Freddie Freeman. Oh, hey, that's Mookie Betts. At least I know who those guys are. Hey, Clayton Kershaw. Versus the Diamondbacks, because I was about to say a name that I want to make sure this guy actually plays for the Diamondbacks. Isn't Dean Kremer, is he one of their starting pitchers? Did I watch him the other night? No, it's not him. He must pitch for the Dodgers. Like, okay, Zach Gallen, you probably know that. Brandon Fad, like, he pitched really well the other night. But you're watching, Corbin Carroll's a player. Okay, fine. But you get my point. Like, the Dodgers, I don't know as a fan if that's ever any better. Or you do jump on the bandwagon and you say, all right, let's go Diamondbacks. One thing on Arizona, specifically to the Diamondbacks, I think that is one of the most underrated team names. And I think they miss on the logo. It's the A, they put the little striping in like a rattlesnake. And I don't know if I want to go back to the purple era of like Luis Gonzalez type stuff there, but the Diamondbacks, that is such, I've always loved that name. I have always loved that name for a team. And it's funny because I hate snakes. So number one thing I'm afraid of in life is snakes. I hate them. The Diamondbacks are pretty freaking cool. I think it's a cool name. So congratulations to them. I don't know if my typical account will ever recover, but we'll find out with Thursday Night Football tonight. Ryan.
Well, Matt, last bit of news here on the morning update. Our dreams of being a millionaire have been stalled for at least a little bit. A player in California won the $1.73
Why is it always California? Why is it always California?
Billion
because they
jackpot.
have the state the income tax and all that. It's rigged.
Winning numbers 22, 24, 40, 52, 64, and the Powerball 10.
What was that movie with John Travolta? It was called Lucky Numbers, where they tried to rig the lottery by going back with those. Like if you walked in with a ticket printed for next draw with those numbers or something like that. Dude, why is it always, it seems like it's always California that wins that. I don't know why. And I've seen, because it was a big news story, so obviously all the news outlets pick it up. And there were some Ohio people that won like $1 million or, won this or won that. I haven't checked my ticket. I play the lotto. Here's a great question for you. How often do you play the lotto?
I don't personally.
Okay. I do, probably maybe twice a week. And it's like I only spend like $4. I'm not one of these people that put down $20, $60, $80. They're $2 tickets, right? For either the Powerball or the Mega Millions. So I usually go in and usually my line is give me 2 auto Powerballs, 2 auto Mega Millions. I did do 3 the other day for last night just because it was a Powerball. So, $4, $6. I probably spend, $10 a week on lotto.
My father has a severe Keno addiction.
I love Keno. Dude, there's nothing better than sitting at an establishment, preferably a dive bar, that has $2 Busch Light, Miller Lite, Budweiser cans. And you just pull that Keno ticket on out and just lay a 20 spot down. Just go ahead and place it. I love Keno at the bar. I love it. It is so great. It's a lot of fun to play. There's a question on that. What's the most money you've ever won on the lotto? I won $300 on Keno. Not sports betting, but the lotto. I won $300 on Keno in college. That's it. I've never actually really won anything big in scratchers or anything like that.
My biggest win was sports gambling, was $900. So I was very, very happy with that.
Yep. All right, great stuff there on the morning update. Let's flip back to the Browns. Our Twitter question is up at Matt Fontana Show, asking everybody, do you think the Browns should just pull the Band-Aid off and make the announcement that they are sitting Deshaun Watson for Sunday's game? We have, at this point, almost 200 votes on the poll there at Matt Fontana Show. 52-48. People say yes, Watson should just sit. I made a lot of points about this earlier. I think everything points to yes. Where you have to sit here and look at the rest of the season, the health of Deshaun Watson, and you do have to look at the team. They try to keep the team together by putting P.J. Walker out there, and is he a little bit better than Dorian Thompson-Robinson? Sure. The right answer is to sit Deshaun Watson and get him healthy for the rest of the season. That's where I think the Browns have got to make this decision. It's a hard one because you face a 49ers team that they're very good. And even if Watson was healthy, you might have an uphill battle to try to win that game anyway. But today will tell a lot. Like when they go to practice later today, and if Deshaun Watson is limited in throwing, here's the biggest conundrum. Is he actually throwing? I don't know. And we'll find that out a little later today, because as far as we know at this point, he did not throw Monday when he was reported limited, and yesterday we have no idea, right? So if he's throwing, at least there is a little bit of progress. At least there's a point that you sit there and you say, it's better than it was the Baltimore week, because I can't have what happened in the Baltimore week happen again. How do you guard against that? You actually have him throw during the week. You actually have him throw so he knows how he's feeling, and you can kind of progress. Because, like, Ryan, if he throws and he goes, okay, my shoulder hurts still, then they can get back on the you know what I mean? Like, you got to loosen it up, in my opinion. You got to I need him to throw. And I think later today, depending on what practice will be, we'll tell the story. Today is the day the Browns will decide if Deshaun Watson is playing on Sunday or not. That's not me reporting it. It's not me with a source. This is me knowing how the NFL works and how an NFL practice week goes. Today will be the deciding day if it's PJ Walker or if it's Deshaun Watson. And in my opinion, if Watson is anything except a full participant in today's practice, he's not going to play Sunday. If he's limited again or doesn't practice, that's it. That's all she wrote. The shoulder's not to a point it's good enough. We got to move forward. So today's a pretty big day. We talked a lot of trades recently with the Browns, and we ran through a CBS article that brought up Derrick Henry that I think was just completely crazy. They bring up Cortland Sutton. Well, Bill Barnwell has one on ESPN.com, but this is a trade, Ryan, that I'm actually in for, and I've actually brought up before. The Browns bring back D'Ernest Johnson. The trade from Bill Barnwell. Browns give up a 5th-round pick this year, or 2024, for D'Ernest Johnson and a 7. Johnson, of course, was here for 4 years. Didn't see much action outside of the 2021 season when he averaged 5 yards a carry over almost 150 carries here in Cleveland. Johnson signed with the Jags in the offseason, but he's been buried behind Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby. They don't really need him. He has 6 carries through the first 5 games, and he was kind of a late-round pickup flyer for the Jags at that point. We discussed a lot about Kareem Hunt knowing the offense and how much that mattered. You got D'Ernest Johnson. Am I ready to pull the trigger on that trade right now? I don't know. The problem is that you're only a couple weeks away from the trade deadline, because what I would like to see is a couple of games of them giving carries to Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt. Ryan, let me ask you this. Have you seen enough when it comes to Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt to say that it's not enough? Like, have you seen enough through 2 games of these guys being it that we need an upgrade at the running back position, or do you need to see more out of them?
That's tough because, like, I know we want to wash the Baltimore game altogether. Like, you can't necessarily do that.
There's
but
some things you can take out of it.
I would like to see another game, but I would say whoever has the opinion of that, like, they've done enough or they haven't yet, I'm okay with either opinion. I would like to give it another game to see, and that sucks because going into this 49ers game, is that going to be another Baltimore situation where we're going to be sitting here and saying, oh, like, that game we had nothing going for us, so let's give them another one in Indianapolis. So I'm not sure yet.
They need more time. That's kind of my biggest thing is I haven't seen enough. So give it some more time, give it a few more games, and then potentially make a move. The problem is you got 2 more weeks, right? 2 more weeks before you get to the trade deadline, and you've got to make a move. So that's the hard thing, but I would give it 1 more game to see. Now, the problem is you don't have Deshaun Watson, or whatever. If Watson plays or not, he's either going to be severely limited or he's not going to play. So you're not getting a true gauge of what this offense is going to be. It's just a lot of stuff that Kevin Stefanski has to overcome, right? And no matter what, this is another big part about where the Browns sit right now. You will come out of this either feeling really good or really bad about Kevin Stefanski. However this is handled, and this maybe goes back to my point about the Browns getting a handle on this. I want them to get a handle on this because I want Kevin Stefanski to be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. And what I don't want is for this situation to be a reason to move on from him. when you fumble these things, I'm not grabbing the football today. When you fumble things like this, that then reflects negatively on your job as a head coach, and that leads you to what? Getting fired. And I don't want that. And some of out there might not. I don't know. I don't want that for Kevin Stefanski. So that's the thing. Through these trials and tribulation, you learn the most when the chips are down. The chips are down for the Cleveland Browns right now. Things are not great. But there's still expectations. There's still a path. So you will come out of this, whether it's after the San Francisco game, whether it's in a couple of weeks, whether it's at the end of the season, you will come out of this, as the Browns ownership will too, feeling better or worse about the job that Kevin Stefanski is doing. Because it is his job to navigate this. It is his job to fight through all of this. And that's the job of a head coach. It's not easy. And he's going to have to find a way to get that figured out while your quarterback is down, while your running game is not great, while you're just dealing with you're not dealing with anything that's outside the realm of the NFL. And so many people gave a lot of credit, justly, to Kevin Stefanski for how he navigated COVID, right? That was just creme de la creme. That was the cream of the crop for his coaching tenure here. He's still dealing with dysfunction, but it's not COVID. It's different things now that every coach probably has to deal with on the way up. And that's why I exude so much of I wish there was better confidence. Like, I just wish they had a better handle on this, Ryan, because I want Kevin Stefanski to stay. Because I want him to be here. And I don't want something something like this that will potentially sink his coaching tenure here. I don't want that.
Yeah, I don't want that either. It sucks because Kevin Stefanski right now is in such a difficult position. Because let's say Deshaun Watson is really this hurt, right? Let's say he sits out this game. Let's say, God forbid, he sits out Indianapolis. They drop that one. Obviously, we're stuck with Deshaun. Barry's not going anywhere. Stefanski's kind of just on a death march.
Well, and the other thing that we haven't even discussed a lot about either is there's other guys hurt. Joel Bitonio didn't practice. Like, Myles Garrett's still in the boot. Like, all of these things are kind of piling up at really a bad time for the Browns, man. This is going to be really, really hard to kind of navigate. But that's like, am I wrong, Ryan, for just putting so much in if we get through San Francisco, everything will be better? Like, not get a win, but just, I don't know why. I have this belief that if just come next week, everything's going to be settled down. And that's more of a reason of why I want Watson to sit. Because I just want to flush this out. Just get this flushed out so I can begin next week anew. And that's really how I'm approaching it. Even with the game not yet played, which bothers some people that I do that. But I'm going to start Monday anew, where at worst you are 2-3, and you then have your 12 game schedule left to go out there and try to make the playoffs. That's how I view it. You have an idea of who this team is, you have an idea of who this team isn't, and you got to piece together some other things. With how this defense play, because that's another part for Sunday. Can the defense rebound and have a game like they're supposed to have? It's all relative, because you and I were talking earlier about not having expectations for this game. How hard is it for a defense to go into a game knowing that they have a backup quarterback out there on their side of it that might probably struggle to put up points, and you are facing probably one of the most dynamic offenses with the front runner for the MVP in Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, who's probably all pissed off the NFL. Do you think the NFL should fine him for the blank Dallas t-shirt? They're debating it.
They will. They 100% will, but I don't want them to.
That's fine. So you got Kittle, Purdy, CMC, the best left tackle in the game. Good luck. Be a test for the defense. It's going to be really hard on the defense, I imagine, come Sunday. And they're going to have to find a way with potentially a backup quarterback. But I bottle all of that up to just feel like next week it'll be better. It's an old saying, parents, we have 2 young kids, and we have friends that have older kids. And I joke because our daughter right now, she's not sleeping all that well. She doesn't take a bottle. If you see the bags under my eyes, you know why. It's because she doesn't sleep. And there's the saying that, you say that over and over for 15 years. Oh, it'll loosen up next week, or next month it'll get easier, or next year it'll loosen up, and it just never really does. That's how I feel with the Cleveland Browns. Oh, if we can just get to next week, man, if we can just power through to next week, things will change. Things will be better. There's no guarantee of that. And you see you're bashing your head against the wall just saying that over and over. Next week will be better. We'll just turn. But for some reason, I feel like next week's the key. Next week's the key. That if you can just sit Watson, get him healthy, start anew next week, we'll be in a little bit of a better spot. All right, let's come back. Let's do this. We'll do time hop, and we'll do our bets for tonight for Thursday Night Football. So we'll have our bets with Tipico. Tell you all about it. Use that code BIGPLAY150 to get signed up today. We'll do time hop. We'll do our bets for Tipico. We'll do it all, wrap it up. We got to end a little bit early today. It's my fault. I apologize, but we'll be back for a full Football Friday tomorrow, which is exciting. Nonetheless, back right after this. Bets, time hop, got it all. Matt Fontana Show right here on Big Play. All right, let's get into it. A little bit of time up here on the 12th of October, about 10:30 our time, and let's get started with a little Cleveland Browns. We go back 9 years ago today. Ryan, Browns taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I bring it up, Ryan, because this was a glorious day. The Cleveland Browns beat the Steelers 31-10 this day, 2014. Sunday, Browns improved to 3-2. Brian Hoyer threw for 217 yards and a touchdown. Roethlisberger a touchdown and an interception. Really, the Browns got all on the ground. Ben Tate had 2 rushing touchdowns for the Browns, and Isaiah Crowell added 1. Tate had 78 yards. Crowell had 77 on a way to 158 rushing yards for the Browns. Mentioned Hoyer. Jordan Cameron catching the lone touchdown. Jim Dre and Travis Benjamin each had 31-yard receptions on the way out for the Browns, so they got a big 31-10 win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. this day in 2014. Buster Screen had the one interception for the Browns that day. God, I love it. I always love beating the Steelers, and it feels great. This day, 2000, the Blue Jackets got their first ever franchise win. They won 3-2 over the Calgary Flames. This day, 1997, the Indians beat the Orioles 8-7 in Game 4 of the ALDS, and Sandy Alomar had a walk-off single that scored Manny Ramirez and tied that series at 2 games apiece. This day, 1997, John Denver passed away in a plane crash. John Denver's really full of it. This day, 1966, Jimi Hendrix, Noel Redding, and Mitch Mitchell performed for the first time as the Jimi Hendrix Experience. This day, 1945, Desmond Doss received the Medal of Honor. Did you watch Hacksaw Ridge?
I haven't, but I know the movie.
Yeah, so he's the inspiration for that. He wrote a book. He was like a pacifist. I dabbled in pacifism once, of course, not now. But he was a pacifist in World War II and saved like 100 guys or something like that. So Andrew Garfield, not a great actor, but whatever. Good movie. This day, 1920, the Indians win the World Series. They beat the Brooklyn Dodgers 3-0 in Game 7. Spitballer Stan Kovaleski got the win. He won Games 1, 4, and 7 en route to the World Series victory. The winning player's share in 1920 for winning the World Series was $4,168. That's about $57,000 in today's money for winning the World Series back in the day. This day, 1901, Theodore Roosevelt changed the name of the Executive Mansion to the White House. Kind of fits, I think. Goes that way. This day, 1810, the first ever Oktoberfest was celebrated in Munich. It was a horse race to celebrate the marriage of the Crown Prince of Bavaria. I love their pretzels. So Princess Therese von Schazen Hilgeberg and Hansen. Smitty Warbenjager, man, Jensen. Princess Therese von Schazen Hildburghausen. Hildburghausen is really what it is. Hildburghausen. I don't know. They got married, kicked off Oktoberfest. One of my good friends has been to Oktoberfest, like legit going over there. Hofbrauhaus works for me.
I haven't been there in years.
Oh, man. I had the same thing. Get a shot ski rolling. Oh, good times. Stand up. I don't know how more people don't fall. They always stand up on the thing. The thing I always watch is when they do the guys that do the Stein hold, and they got to hold it up for as long as they can. And then there's videos of the servers. They get like 6 beers in each hand, and they start carrying it around. You know, and I think they're pretty old school in that way. You go and they're like, do you want light or dark? That's it. Do you want light lager or dark lager? That's it. But yes, Oktoberfest started this day, 1810. Very happy birthday goes out to Nancy Kerrigan. Do you know who that is?
I do know Nancy Kerrigan.
Former Browns wide receiver and a name of the past, Darren Cheverini, celebrating a birthday today. Hugh Jackman of Wolverine fame. They delayed it.
He'll be back soon.
I know,
Deadpool.
but they delayed it with the writer's strike. And I apologize because I have Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, down for today, but his birthday was actually yesterday. So I apologize for the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. One movie for you today. This day, 2012. Your hints would not at all help, but the fact is that this was the first movie my wife and I ever saw together. This is the first date we ever went on.
What if I just pulled it and I guessed
I'd be really impressed. 2012.
2012. I think this is a little bit later, but Inception?
No, good guess, though. No. It is based on a true story, a factual historical event. Let me give you a bad hint here for it. Batman goes to save some people in a foreign country.
Yep. I swear to God, what was before you even said the Batman thing? You said it was based on a true story.
Yeah.
I knew it right away. Argo.
Argo's correct. Well done. Yes.
That also won Best Picture of the Year.
It did. Great flick. Great flick.
It was phenomenal.
The story on the first date is my wife and I were obviously not even dating, and she was back from college. Like, we'd always been texting, and I was like, "Hey, this movie's coming out. You want to go see it?" And I go, "Sure." So I was late from work, and we like a 7:00 showing at the Rocky River Theater. And I drive and I meet her there, which again was a bad sign that I didn't go pick her up for her house. We left the movie. She still gives me crap to this day. And here we are, married, obviously been together for 11 years, married for 5, and have 2 beautiful kids. She goes, "You never walked me to my car."
Come on, Matt.
I didn't. I'm sorry.
Chivalry.
I know. I'm such a jerk. Thankfully, she should have just stopped talking to me right then and there. And we left the movie, and her car was somewhere else. And I was like, and I told my mom that one time, and the disgust. My mom, she goes, "I raised you better than that, Matt." And I go, "I know. I don't even remember. Like, it was some like conversation like, "Do you want me to walk you to your car?" And she's like, "No, that's all right." And I'm like, I don't know. I such a jerk. It still sticks with me. So every time I see Argo, it's the first date my wife and I ever went on, and it should have probably been the last date that my wife and I ever went on. But she somehow saw something better in me, and here we are today. Better for it. All right, we get to Thursday Night Football tonight. It is the Kansas City Chiefs welcoming in the lowly, sad Denver Broncos. It is at Arrowhead. It's in KC. I've got it at 10.5. Over under, I think, is 50. Is it moved, Ryan?
I think it's 47 on Tipico.
Okay, good. Because I've got it at other places at 50.
Nice.
50. Which kind of maybe helps out where we're at. Let's jump into our trends. Tipico, use that code BIGPLAY150. Sign up today. You get the $150 in bonus bets when you deposit 50 plus that 30-pound dog pound bet moving forward as well. It is at 47 tonight for the Broncos and Chiefs on Tipico. So that's better than some places I've seen it. It's at 9.5 a couple places, still 10.5 for the Broncos Chiefs. Let's get into the trends for this game. As we know, 4-1 for Kansas City. Denver coming in with a 1-4 record. On the road, Denver is 1-1. Kansas City has not lost at home this year. Against the spread, Denver has not yet covered this year. They are 0-4-1 against the spread this season. Kansas City an even 3-2. At home for KC, they are 1-1 against the spread, and on the road for Denver, they are 0-1-1. Over-under's been a little bit of a shocker here. The over has hit 4 times this season for Denver, mostly because they can't stop anybody, notably in that Miami game. The over-under for Kansas City is 2-3 on the year. It is split 1-1 at home over-under for Kansas City, and the over has hit both times on the road games here for Denver. I will start with the Broncos. 0-5-1, as I mentioned, against the spread going back to last year. Denver's 1-4 against straight up their last 5 games. They are, how about this, Ryan? Kansas City has won the last 10 games against the Broncos. 10 straight wins. But Denver has covered 4-1 in the last 5 games when played at Kansas City. Denver is only 2-12 straight up in their last 14 games on the road, though. And Denver is 0-7 straight up. As I mentioned, they haven't won at all in Kansas City recently. You flip it over for the Chiefs. They're 5-2 against the spread their last 7 games. They are 12-1 straight up in their last 13. Talking about this matchup against Denver, the over has gone 4 out of the last 6 games against Denver. So if you combo it with how the over has gone 9 out of the last 10 games for Denver, I kind of like the over tonight. And you know me and the under. I got a rule, the dog and the under. And I don't think I'm taking either one. I think I'm going to take the over and KC to cover in this one. We'll see. Other bets here. Let's see some of our super boosts here for the Broncos and Chiefs on Tipico. Russell Wilson to throw for 1 or less TD and 1 interception. So again, if he throws a pick and 1 touchdown, you cash at 195. Any of these 3 players to score a touchdown: Travis Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco, Javonte Williams, Cortland Sutton, or Jerry Jeudy. That is plus 170. The big play boost: Chiefs minus 10.5 and Travis Kelce to score a touchdown. That is plus 230. I got to support the brand here. I'm going to go 15er right there on our big play boost. So again, KC minus the 10.5 and Travis Kelce to score a touchdown plus 230. Place and bet right there on Tipico. Take a look at that. We are in and good to go. Anytime touchdown score: Kelce minus 165, Pacheco minus 130, Javonte Williams plus 200, Jerry Jeudy plus 210. Let's get to some of the passing yards. Russell Wilson over under 218.5 there, Ryan.
218.5 for Russell. I would go.
I think he's not going to be over because they're going to throw.
Yeah, I would go over for that.
Patrick Mahomes is 269, nice, and a half.
I'd go lower.
I actually go under too. I go under on that. So I'm going to go. What did I say? All right, so I'm getting our big play boost. I'm taking our big play boost, which again is Kelsey to score a touchdown, Chiefs minus 10.5. I got to tell you, Ryan, I'm taking the over. I'm taking the over. The trends tell me to take it. I think this could be one that the Chiefs score a lot of points, and then I hate that because it just goes against every fiber of my being because I always bet the under for Thursday Night Football, but I'll take the over tonight there on that 47, especially because it's down a couple points there on Tipico, which I always love to see. Great stuff. We got to end a little early today. Appreciate everybody joining us this morning. Get ready for this afternoon. We'll have a lot of more information, in my opinion, about Deshaun Watson if he practices today. Today, I think, will be the day that the Browns make the pseudo decision. Doesn't mean they're going to announce it, but I think this is when they're going to really have a good idea if Deshaun Watson is going to play or not. Don't forget Chico coming up at 12. Get on the iHeart app. Follow him on Twitter and social media at Chico Borman Show. We're at Matt Fontana Show. Appreciate everybody joining us this morning. We'll talk to you tomorrow for a Football Friday edition, 9 to 11. Don't miss it tomorrow right here on Big Play. For Ryan Tyler, I am Matt Fontana, and as always, take it easy.